You may think it's easy crossing the line where you got to see some sort of success and think that you also know that these times where things are slowing down are just going to come and you're going to take them as they are, as it's just maybe as easy as getting up there to that kind of state where one could define it with success. But I don't think that is quite the thing, as it's mostly way harder to accept when you're having a fall down or not being able to sustain what you're doing, or to even just take it as it comes and use it as a new insight for oneself to actually start approaching something new and taking something from it. So when I got to feel that things are slowing down in all sorts of fields I was trying to go after, or not getting back what I thought or once had, a quick state of like a danger zone came up, because you're getting quite, your confidence is quite crushed down once you just see how things are being getting harder on you, and you're not able to get the results you initially wanted to or had. So that sort of adaptation you gotta come up with once things are changing into a new way is like a very hard thing to wrap one's head around, because not everybody and not everyone can adapt to that sort of state in every situation. Yeah, you may have some more resilience in situations where you're feeling good, but when you're not yet too clear about what you're doing, or not too like settled on the thing you're approaching, it can be quite an hit you gotta take. But that is absolutely all right, because we all gotta take these hits to get the clarity of how good the thing we are doing actually is. Because if we would not get these hits, we would just like move on the same way as before, and maybe even do something that made us see some sort of good results, which are in another instance just a limiting state, because we start measuring by the success we had with something previously, and that doesn't define growth in itself, because it's something that was already done, and it may worked out good, but you gotta move on and develop yourself and find new sort of ways to approach your craft. And there are areas in which you do not have to make too many adjustments in the process, as once you understood the market or the people around that sort of field, and you got your customers or your jobs to do, then or you started to get into the scene where you're able to like fulfill the needs of your job and your like goals, then yeah, it's good. But especially in the realm of just making content or writing or making videos, whatever, that is such a space where you just have to move so fast these days, and you're actually it's actually so hard to just like grasp what what you actually try to do in the first place once you start to shift into a direction where you think you're gonna get better results. And I think this is quite a curse once you start giving up what you actually want to do because you don't see much coming and you see more coming from somewhere else. And I think that is a main reason why so many people out there doing content or making videos or approaching some sort of social media engagement are involved in such a state of mind where they just have to like follow along what the scene is giving them. And yeah, sure, this is part of the business for many, as people just have to like adapt to new trends to stay up the curve and attract attention. But once you understand what you want to do, and in my case I understood that I just want to be as real as I can, because that is the thing that fulfills myself. That is the thing that gives me a great feeling about what I'm doing, as I can just be whoever I feel like, and however I feel is always okay, because I'm crystal clear and open about that. And when I can stand by that thing or that person I am in that field, I won't have these problems along the way where I just don't feel like having a good time doing this or that. Because why should I? Why should I focus too much on how the results are, or what what all these numbers are saying? Because they determine so much of your state of mind and how you take up on things. I'm catching myself so many times just checking how things perform, or just checking how others do. I'm not measuring by any means, and I haven't even found or been recommended someone who does videos like those. We know the big ones as Sam Sulek or someone else in that regard. I'm not too deep down in the last few months watching videos like these, because I'm developing hard on myself. But it's just like, yeah, I shall not focus too much on that, because I just want to be myself. And when that's my craft, and when that's the thing I'm passionate about and I feel great, then I should do that. And I think the space would be a whole lot of different when people would actually stand behind who they are and just actually live that person they feel like being, in a very intrinsic way. Because it somewhat changes people very hard once they start to take up a role for someone else. You're like selling parts of yourself to people out there just to get back that specific thing. You're a role model, yeah, and that's all right. But if you're conscious about who you are, then that's cool. Yeah, when that's your business, great. I'm very happy for you that you got the success you deserve for doing something like that. But many people just don't know what's behind the curtain of those people, and that many of these lives are not actually real, but like a show. And I'm not living that kind of life, and I'll never want to, and I certainly will never live that life. So I'm fully okay by just being like I am and showing it. But still, that doesn't make the whole situation with taking things too seriously in the matter of how your content or how the things you're doing performs. And that is also a good thing. I'm not saying that I should not take a look at that in any ways, because I want to provide value, as every other person pursuing their crafts wants. They want to provide value in some sort of way, some good, some bad. It's not up to that, but you want to give something, you do, to a person, and get something back from that. And what I get back from just talking with people or opening myself up on myself or just listening to others and being in an exchange with them is that people and myself are able to grow from these kind of conversations. And when I see that others are able to grasp something they haven't seen before, then that is an amazing thing to see and great feeling to have, a very good one, because you somehow get such you get to see that you're on the right track and that your thoughts and the solutions you have in mind for others are actually working out. And that is a very beautiful thing for me. And that's why I think I'm also feeling so good about just sending it out there, no matter where it ends, just giving it to the world and give it myself as well, because I'm able to reflect on so many things that just stack up in myself throughout the day, and that this is like a flow where I can just let it all out, just let it be. So I'm glad about being able to have found myself in that position where I just do and stick to it. And I certainly will do adjustments, as we all should, and start to improve on aspects we got to see, or insights we got on our way, because that makes what we do better. And when the thing we do gets better, the thing we craft gets better, we also start to even feel better about what we're doing. We get more clarity, more insight, and can just feel so. It's almost always like some sort of relief, because when you do something, you build up so much energy, you are bundling it, and it's getting filled with all the passion and the power that you're putting into that. This whole sphere that is energetically loaded by you just at some point has so much in it that it wants to move. It wants to accelerate on itself, like an living thing almost, as you put so much effort from your personal being in it, that this thing wants to hit a point where it can flourish the whole space around it. And when that point of sending out that energy is not coming, even though you loaded it up, even though you put in effort and time and willingness to do that, but you never come to the point where you actually offload it and send it out or just get it rolling on itself, then I think it never gonna hit the point where it can like explode and spread its energies. It's like with flowers, when all these, I don't know the word in English, but when things, or it's in German it's called Blüten, when the bees flying around, and they take up all these tiny little things in the flowers and put it somewhere else, so that the whole kind of field is spreading itself. So many plants are also doing things in such a regard, and we should also definitely consider looking at nature to see the reference for so many things in life as well. But that is just about the thing when you start to craft something, when these bundled energies are being unloaded from you at the stage where you feel like they can now go and do their thing, and you send them out, it's that relief. It's the relief of bringing it out. And sometimes the relief of bringing it out can give you a fallback where you don't see it hitting a certain place you wanted it to, and it's been flying around and it's still so loaded, and you think, oh my God, when it's going to hit the place I thought it's going to make an impact, a positive one. When it's not doing, it's harsh. And I can relate to that, but it's not your latest fear you loaded up. There are many more you can load up, and you can fill with all the energies you have within yourself and send it out. And some of those are definitely going to hit a certain point where they can spread in a positive way. These fears are your passion, your whole craft, everything you love to do. And when you don't stop looking at every little corner and angle it out to see how it's behaving and how it's being built, then I think it's inevitable to be for nothing, as things one does are never for nothing. Because even though you don't get a hit with some sort of thing you approached, you get back the experience of developing, of seeing something in a completely different way, as you were able to recognize what the actual thing about it was that didn't work out, maybe. But this needs you. This needs your determination to look at it, to just stick to it, to this, to look even at the thing that didn't work out. Because we mostly just don't. We don't look at those things as deep as the things that worked out and got us the results we wanted. Because it's quite painful sometimes. It brings us down. It shows us that we maybe that we did not do a good job. Some confident things in ourselves get broken down just because one result wasn't as we thought, or maybe more. It can be a whole chain of results. You just, all of a sudden, are not getting back, but not looking at those will hold you back. You gotta take a look at these things as well. You can enjoy the excellence you've done, the parts that actually worked out in a great way, but you gotta take a deep look as well on the things that didn't work out, because they are the ones that are filled with insight. And they, when comparing the parts that didn't work out and gave you bad results to the things or the stuff you're doing that gave you good results, you'll actually start to understand what it was about that thing that didn't work out. And when it's not too clear, as it's not transparent for you yet, then it's one big of a thing to do research on, to understand more about how that thing you were doing before might have just have another set of a psychological aspect to it, why people liked it more. And the next thing you were doing had some sort of different aspects to it that just didn't come across as you wished them to. So looking at these things in a very rational way, it can ultimately bring so much that you won't stand still and you won't want to give up, because you started to understand that no matter how your results are going to be, no matter how good or bad they might have been, it's about the insights. And a bad result is heavily insightful, as well as a good one, for sure. You're getting clearer about that what you're doing is good. But seeing what you're doing not the right way, because you're not getting the results you wanted to, I think sometimes can even be more valuable. Because once you eradicate the things that actually hold you back from growth, from success within a certain field you're approaching, then there's so much more room to get filled by all the good stuff you're doing. And you can come up with more strategies about the things about the good results to fill the space where once the bad results had been in with good results, with new kind of approaches and plans to fill it up. And there are times going to come where you for sure will see that even in a perfectly set up and functioning approach, there's still going to come back the areas that show you bad results. So it's time again to eradicate those and look at these with a very clear eye to fill that space up again. And that cycle will have to keep rolling and rolling, because sky's the limit with whatever you're doing. So that's what I'll also like to keep in mind and keep focused on, that I should stay on track doing things I love, but also not taking it too hard how things are performing or how certain things are looking, but looking at the things I don't want to see anymore, and where I can make improvements to get it working out better. So I think when not being held back by these limiting forces, Servus. It's quite a is quite a good thing to do. So yeah. Yeah, it's always, I'm sitting down in a great empty field, but still there are people approaching very close to me, so I'm being taken out of focus. Good that it happened at the end, I mean, because yeah, I think I was able to convey all I wanted for that one. And yeah, have a good day and see you very soon.